Good morning. Wednesday morning. Back from the long weekend. Yes, my long weekend was longer than your long weekend. Neener. It's the morning break. I'm Rob Patz. I missed you guys. It was actually last Wednesday when we were on. And of course, I was gone Friday. We went to Mackinac Island. Today, Kristen and I celebrate our 4th anniversary. It's 4 years today. I somehow talked her into marrying me. It was a shock for all of us, especially Kristen, I'm sure. No, but it was incredible. 4 years ago today, at about this time, what was I doing? 4 years ago, 10:30 Eastern time. I was getting ready. I'd showered. I was on my way. I was on my way to get something to eat, I believe. Roger and Kay Harris, shout out to you guys. You were there. You picked my mom and I up from the hotel and took us. I don't remember where we went. I'm gonna have to ask Roger now off air. I have to ask him where he took us. We went someplace really quick, and then we went to the church, and we had pictures starting at 1:00, so I had to be there to get dressed. And I think we just grabbed something quick that we ate. Actually, I think at the church. I cannot remember. It wasn't very much. But I was feeling the nerves. Yes, I was completely feeling the nerves. First marriage for both Kristen and I, and it was an incredible experience. We talked a little bit about it over the weekend, and just everything that happened, how God put us together, how everything happened, and how just a blessed time it was for us, both of us, first marriage. So happy anniversary, my wife Kristen. Thank you for putting up with me for 4 years. Here's 250 more. I would love that. That would be cool. I'm quite old, but I'm not sure that would be a good idea. Anyway, it is good to be back in the morning break. I will tell you this, I missed it. Was talking again over the weekend to some of my friends and just different people that had a part of what I was doing. And it blows me away. You look at what's happened with the morning break over the first couple of weeks, and the funny part is we've not really had a full week yet of the show, and that'll happen next week. And we've got some neat guests who are going to be with us today. Got Jason Webb. We're going to talk Thrive, which is tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. By the way, if you follow my wife on Instagram, social media, all those fun things, you know that we did the 8.2 perimeter, and we did that on Labor Day. We went all the way around on Labor. No, it was Labor Day. I think we did. Now, see, that's what happens. They talk about island time. It's such a real thing. Let's see. So we came home Tuesday. Yes, it was Monday. We went all the way around. It's called the Perimeter on Mackinac Island. It was painful. My body feels terrible. I'm too old to do stupid things like that. Let's never do that again. I didn't pull the trigger and get an 8.2 hoodie. I should have. It seemed like a lot of money for something that very few people would actually understand. But 8.2 is the perimeter of Mackinac Island, and we walked it. It took us, we're not super fast, though we kept on a pretty good pace. And it took us a little under 4 hours to do the whole 8.2 miles, which is really not true. Our whole trip was just about 10 miles and took us about 4 hours to do. Had a lot of fun. Beautiful pictures. Go check out my wife's Instagram. You can find stuff there. This is one of my favorite cups. And we've had this debate a little bit on the show. Do you have like a mug that is like your favorite? This is one of them. This I got this in Savannah this year in May, and it's just become one of my. It's because it's industrial size. It's not just like one of those wimpy cups that you get like 12 ounces. And who wants 12 ounces of coffee? I mean, that'd be okay to get started, but then I want coffee. So anyway, mm, great coffee from the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order coffee from 7 Weeks Coffee. When we come out of the break, my buddy Jason Webb, we're going to hang out. Uh, we may or may not discuss the Buckeyes. I'm so excited about it. I almost messed up. The Buckeyes Longhorns game. We might do a little of that, but we may save most of it for tomorrow. We'll do that after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
There's only a few things in my life that are better than coffee, and there are very few things. One of those things is when my team, no matter who that is, wins a game. And then, of course, I get a chance to gloat as much as possible. That, my friends, is what happened over this last weekend, starting on Saturday. My friend here and I had a little thing that you'll have to see tomorrow. Now you're gonna have to watch Thrive tomorrow, but this is the guy that started trash talking me like before the kickoff. Now you have to understand something. When you're the national champions, you don't need to trash talk ahead of the game. When you have professionals playing, you don't need to trash talk. And voila, there was this time on Sunday, and I don't remember Saturday, excuse me. We were out doing stuff, and I couldn't watch the game, which was funny because we're at this place, and they did have the game, but our TVs, because it's a resort that is, you're supposed to be outside. My TV was about the size of my hand. So watching a game on a TV the size of my hand was not an option. But this gentleman here started texting me, and here's the funny part about Jason, and I love Jason, but the funny thing was, once the game started progressing, I heard less and less from Jason. It was like, I wonder what the score. So every time when I didn't hear anything, I went and checked the score, and it was not good. Hey, welcome, Jason Webb, my buddy and partner in crime on the show Thrive, which is live every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Jason,
man, it's quite disappointing. It's actually a good game, but you are correct. I should learn from these things because I do it every time, and I'm trash talking, even beforehand. And it tends to happen. Man, I will say the second half was much better than the first with our Longhorns and Ohio State game. And it was just a good game in general. It won 14-7. Even Texas still had a chance at the end to come and tie it, but Ohio State still picked it up. But hey, I still think we're gonna end up meeting again, I think, in the playoffs later this year.
do you think, and this isn't our topic for today, but do you think, honestly, that and this is and I'm going to disagree, because a lot of people said, well, the stage was too big for Arch Manning, and I disagree with that, because I don't think for any of the Mannings this kind of stuff is too big a stage. I just think you got to realize this is his first real start in a place like Columbus, which, by the way, you inspired my wife, and I'm going to tell on her. So you inspired my wife to watch every Ohio State band video from the weekend because my wife loves the Ohio
Oh,
State band.
they're awesome.
And so we watched. I'm like, I walked into I walked out of the bathroom and I'm hearing a fight song on her phone. I'm like, what are you watching? She goes, I just love this. I forgot how much I love she wasn't watching game highlights. She was watching the Ohio State band, which by the way, pretty
Yes.
incredible. But yes, I don't think the stage was too big. I really think, and you may disagree because you probably follow Texas closer than I do. But he came out preseason and he talked about the fact that he was coming back next year already. I mean, that this isn't just a one and done season. I don't think they look at it. And in much like life in general, and you and I both in business would say the same thing, is you've got to play the long game. It's not playing like one win or one loss. I don't know. So your thoughts?
I agree. And first, before we get into that, I forgot to say happy anniversary to you and Kristen.
Thank you.
She's put up with you for 4 years. I'm sure it's like 4 minutes though to her, but probably like 4 minutes underwater. But it's okay. Hey, all right.
Yes.
You convinced her. You definitely married up, Rob.
Hey.
I love you, but you married up.
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. And there are a lot of people out there, and I'm not going to tell their names, but who had bets on how long this marriage was going to last. Ha ha ha! To all of you, all lost.
I know you're one of my best friends, but I'm going to say I like Kristen better. I'm just being honest, okay?
I like Kristen better.
But anyways, about Arch Manning.
So super funny. Super funny thing out of that, out of the whole wedding and my friends. So the church that we attend has no front stairs. Like you have to enter side stage. So they put up these stairs, which I swear some Amish guy probably made, and they were narrow and no handles, and everybody was betting on if I would fall off the stairs off the stage. There was a whole group of my friends, and this is how much they love me. They're telling each other he's gonna fall. And that was it. So that was anyway. But yes, there's the story. But back to Arch.
So about Arch, yeah, I don't think the stage is too big. Like he's a Manning. I just think it was his first real big game out there that he got to play, and it was against Ohio State in front of 107,000 plus people at the Horseshoe. I think he's going to come back. I'm not worried about Arch Manning at all. I know I've heard some things from Steve Sarkisian, the coach of UT here. I think he's going to be just fine, but it was his first big game outside of Texas. The 2 games that he started last year were in Texas. He didn't start anyone outside of Texas.
And I think for him, and I think it honestly, and this is my thought on this. If he does go back for another year, I mean, the expectations for him after that are he's done it all. Especially if he wins a national championship. Oh, yeah. Now, though, I'm gonna change the thought on this. Does he hurt his brand? What if he doesn't win a national championship? Does he hurt himself?
I think it depends on how he plays throughout the year. But realistically, like he's a Manning. They don't necessarily need the money to get into the NFL. He wants to do it right. So I think what the whole play on this is, he already has a ton of money with the NIL stuff coming in, but also putting himself in the right position for which team. If you look at his uncle, Eli Manning, he didn't want to go play for the Chargers. So he made that happen where he's going to play for the Giants. And I think
Can you blame him?
Really.
Can you blame him at that time?
Weather-wise, I'd want to play in San Diego, but that's about it, But seriously,
yes.
I think it depends on who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft if he comes out this year or not. I think they're playing it strategically.
I think that's smart, and I think that gives them the leverage. And you're talking to there's a radio guy in Seattle who I really love. His name is G. Scott. His son played for Ohio State. He was a tight end, and he had a great thing because they were talking about. He was on a friend of mine's show out in Seattle, and he was talking about he's also a radio guy. G is, and if you like just kind of completely wild radio, he's fun because he talks about everything, and he's great at it. But he was talking about his son, who is a tight end, who made the practice squad this year with
Oh
New
wow.
England.
Yeah.
And he was undrafted, went through and did his thing, and is a great tight end. He's gonna have a great, but what he said, which I thought was super interesting, he talked about
Mhm.
NIL, and he made money in NIL. His, G's son is looking at his career past
Oh, of
football.
course.
And see, I think that's something that we have not talked
Mhm.
about in sports in a
No, I
long
agree
time.
because you got to think a lot of these athletes. I think the long or the average tenure in the NFL is less than 3 years. If you get over 3 years, you actually have
Yeah.
veteran status. Well, at 3 years, most of these guys are 25, 26 years old. They still have a full life ahead of them. And so, yeah, life after the NFL, it's just a very short time to do what you can do within that. I thought about going back and trying, but yeah, I'm 45, so probably not. But
Yeah, it's not happening for it's so funny because like I'll watch these things and Kristen laughs because I'll be like, that's what's happening there is the safety is crashing down. He's not really gonna blitz. And she's like, how do you know that? I said, it's like
instinct.
in there somewhere. And it won't leave. And you're like, and you feel it. Like if your left tackle, we were talking about you and I were talking about that last night about your left tackle. I felt pain actually while we were talking about this, and no shade to the kid that in 8th grade who was way undersized but played left tackle for me. I probably was bigger than he was, and we were getting killed, and I could feel pain in my ribs every time. We didn't have quite the setup they have now to play football, and it's just I love the sport and I love it for him. I think he's going to be a fantastic. I think
Yeah,
he is. I think Arch is going to be a great player. Now, here's the thing though that worries me, and we'll talk about this because we'll talk about expectations in life, not only for somebody
of
like
course.
Arch, but the reality is he going to be Eli or Peyton? There really was only one Peyton
It's true.
Manning. Even his own brother did not live up to.
The one thing that Arch has though is
And
he actually has some athletic ability and speed. He can actually
yeah,
run. Peyton and Eli could not.
no, they look like Frankenstein running down the field.
So, anyways, yeah,
They they look like me now. You and I now. I ran faster when I was playing football, but now I look like Peyton Manning running. That's
hey Rob, I want to bring up the 7 weeks coffee because that stuff is amazing. And you talked about mugs, and see, this is my mug that I wear. I bring it all the time, and I actually usually have it flipped over. But it says "Super Dad." My kids got it for me, and so
yes.
yeah, this is my favorite cup, and it's big.
Yes.
See,
Hey,
it's a big
listen,
one.
go to the Great Folks 7 weeks coffee and use the promo code ATV10. It is great
Mhm.
coffee. And they're good people doing a great service. My wife found it, and we've just had an amazing relationship with them. And actually, their team wrote to Kristen just recently and talking about some of the stuff
So
we've
cool.
done with them. So, hey, listen, before we go, I have to ask you about a couple of things. One, what is tomorrow's show about?
Ooh, tomorrow's
Because just for everybody to know, Jason does it all. I basically show up like 3 minutes before it's time to do the
mhm.
show, and Jason's done all the
That's
hard
okay. So
work.
tomorrow's show, we got a couple guests on, Rob, like we usually do. First guests are going to be actually a marriage counseling couple. They are amazing people. We're going to be doing some more stuff with them. And then also the second guest is Shay Bynes. She's actually a Kingdom Business Alliance person. She's done podcasting. She's done TV. She's done a lot of stuff in the business space with Kingdom Entrepreneurs, which is what we do as well. And as soon as I had talked to her, I was like, we got to get you on the show. So we're going to be talking thriving with now some marriage stuff, with some business stuff, thriving with a lot of different things in life, right?
Which is really important. And Jason and I talked about this when we launched Thrive, is for both of us, is that not only is our business important, but our marriages are important. And neat thing for both of us, our both of our wives are very entrepreneur
Entrepreneurial.
centric. Yes, that's what I was looking for, but couldn't think of it because I've been on vacation for almost a week. So, my brain hasn't had to do any braining for a week.
Oh, I love it. No.
My biggest decision was, are we going to have French fries? Which by the way, okay, so I got a question for people because this is something that happened. And then I know Jason's got to go, and so I'm going to let him go. But Caramelized
Mm,
onions. Love caramelized onions. But I now have come to the conclusion that different people have a different definition of what caramelized onions are. To me, caramelized onions are
yeah,
like brown. They're like
yeah, a little
done.
crispy even
Yeah.
sometimes. Mhm.
Yes. So I'm at a restaurant and they come out and they look raw. And I said, I went like this. And I didn't say anything because I'm not one of those people. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be that guy that, "Can you send this back?" I just
No,
don't
me
wanna
neither.
do it because I think half the time they probably
Yeah,
spit
me
in your
neither.
food anyway.
But I will
It's
say
like,
this, Rob,
yeah.
you are the person that we do send pictures of our food back and forth to each other.
Oh, completely.
We
Jason
are
and
hefty
I,
guys. We like our
and
food.
that's yes. Oh, and that was the best part. And just a quick shout out before we have to go on this segment is Mission Point. If you're going to Mackinac Island, go to Mission Point, try their breakfast package. Kristen got it for me, which I'm so thankful for. So we could have breakfast every every day. And you know what? Not only Jason do I post that stuff on your private message, but I do sometimes
You
put it
do?
on social
Mhm.
media. And we want to quick talk about a great organization we're working with called Axe Social. We're a corporate sponsor. Jason and I are both on there. You can find us on there. And just great people. Axe Social, we're a corporate sponsor, like I said, along with Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby. It's glad that we could drag them
Exactly,
along with
right? Yeah.
us in the corporate sponsor. I mean, help out some little companies like a chicken company and maybe like arts and
Yes.
crafts thing, get into that stuff. But find us there. Hey, Jason, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much, buddy, for
God
being
bless.
with us. When we come back, it's my final thoughts. We're going to talk about food and travel after this.
Social media today is noisy, divided, and too often hostile to Christian values, a place where truth is twisted and faith is often silenced. What if there was a place for believers where you could share your story, grow in your faith, and be encouraged every day? Introducing Acts Social, the #1 Christ-centered social platform built to unite Christians worldwide in truth, hope, and love. Share your faith openly. Discover powerful, uplifting content. Join prayer groups. Encourage others. Find news and events from a biblical worldview all in one place. And do it all free from big tech censorship, invasive tracking, and endless ads. Because the body of Christ was never meant to be scattered. It was meant to be together, every day, everywhere. ActsSocial.com, the fastest growing platform for Christ-centered connection. Join us and be part of something eternal.
Hey, thanks to great folks at Axe Social, axsocial.com. Hey, when you go over there, remember to, if they ask you, and I believe they still are asking for referral stuff, tell them that you found out about it from Abundant TV. We are one of their great corporate sponsors, and there are only 4 of us, so it's kind of cool. We're one of them, along with the great folks at Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby, the lobby that hobbies. So, hey, listen, I talked a little bit about in my opening about Kristen and I walking the 8.2 miles on the perimeter. And yes, because of the fact that I can brag about that and because I'm going to use it a lot because, well, it is kind of cool if you think about it to be able to do stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to wear it out. It's just part of who I am. You know it. But I want to talk about travel really quick. We're going to talk about some travel and what this new study that's come out. And I love this. Gen Z and millennials are redefining travel. They are planning shorter, where they're not long-term plan. Like for Kristen and I, we're planning, we've got a trip coming up late October that we're getting ready for. That's our next thing. We got our birthdays. Kristen's is on the 11th, mine's on the 24th of this month. And then after that, the big next thing is we're going on vacation the end of October again, another trip. And so we've already literally put probably, I would say, a few hours. I was going to say 6 or 8 hours, probably in researching different places. We like them to be walkable. It's one reason why we like Mackinac Island. It's why we like Savannah. Um, we want it to be walkable. And we want it to be places that have good food and just, that kind of thing. So that's us. Gen Z, nah. They're going on short notice, like less than 2 weeks. Interesting thing though, and I love this term, it's called town sizing. They're going to lesser known destinations. Okay. So I'll tell you a cute story or a funny story. I spent 3 days in a little town called El Paso, Illinois. If you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Had a greatest time though, but they call it town sizing. So they're going to these towns and then they're eating in local restaurants. And I think that's super cool. I love the idea and it gives them a flexibility. So you go to a small town, first place, your cost is less. If you go to a place like Mackinac Island, especially if you go over the Labor Day weekend, like my wife and I did, you're going to realize that it's going to be expensive to be there. But you do town sizing, which are lesser known destinations, and then they eat. And I love this part too. The study also showed that they eat 77% of the time. Then while they're in these small towns, they are eating at local restaurants. Love that. Hey, talking about food though, McDonald's, and we talked about this last week on the show, they're launching a brand new combos, discount combos, and these are to bring prices down. Now, here's my problem with this, and I always thought this, even if they bring prices down a little bit, the reality is that it's still expensive to go eat at a McDonald's or a Wendy's or Burger King. Listen, I'd rather go to Chili's. Chili's, you can go there. You're in and out for about $11-12. Of course, fast casual is winning. Red Robin. I gotta mention Red Robin because it's Seattle. If you didn't know, their original home, Seattle, Washington. So I've eaten in Red Robin since I was a young man. And here's my thing. Are you going to do it? Are you going back? Because they're worried. And this is, I think, a lot of what's going on here is they're worried. They have lost a ton of business. Fast casual, the Chili's, the Red Robins, and they went through a whole list, and I can't remember the rest of them. Applebee's have all gobbled into the fast food world because the prices now, the average price for a combo meal at a restaurant like McDonald's is now over $11. $11. Come on, people. Really? $11? Nah, we're not doing that. $11 to go to eat at McDonald's? That's good. Hey, thanks so much for joining me with the morning break. It has been fun. It's been a week. Oh, where'd the time go? It's gone by so fast. We'll be back Friday, of course, with another episode. Tomorrow, join us at 10 a.m. for Thrive. And the cool part of that, if you're an Ohio State fan, is Jason Webb will be wearing an Ohio State Buckeyes. You gotta love it. Ohio State Buckeyes shirt. I've seen the shirt. It actually looks really good on. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us today. Remember, share this on your favorite social media. Join us again for this show on Friday. Tomorrow for Thrive at 10. Friday at 10:30 for the morning break. I'm Rob Patz. See you then.